disadvantages of marks. Okay. Now, a mark is a single symbol to represent the degree to which a student has achieved certain objectives. So marks are inaccurate measures of competence and are not used in a comparable way from school to school or even from instructor to instructor. So let's take a look. Take a look. To one teacher, B is average, and this teacher marks on effort and fails 30% of the students, 30% of the class. To another, this teacher considers C as an average, and this teacher marks on what? Achievement. Okay? And this teacher fails none. You see the difference? Even a student in this class has a B. It's equivalent to a student in this class having a C. Right? You see the problem? It is almost here. The marker's characteristics can determine to a much larger degree than the actual achievement of the student. Right? So you see here, these types of inconsistencies are very harmful and destroy the interpretability of such marking schemes. So here, and also marks are not related to the important objectives of the school in this case. Okay? So I'm talking about some disadvantages of mark in general. Right? So marks are not related to the important objectives of the school. And number 3, marks are inadequate in communicating between the home and the school. Is that right? One mark is like Lord of the Ring, one ring to rule them all. Okay. Number 4, marks produce side effects detrimental to the welfare of the child. Now, the side effects usually mentioned are the debilitating impact of failure, the encouragement of excess competitiveness. Okay? Yeah, well, in this competitive world, is it true? Okay? That you, especially in high school or even in primary school, you have children saying, I got an A, you got a B, yeah, that type of thing, all right? And increased cheating in order to get ahead, in order to have a better mark, okay? And marks can be considered a distortion of educational values, which makes marks rather than learning the important criterion of success. So that is to say, students are trying aiming at getting higher marks instead of aiming at learning more. All right? So let's take a look at some advantages of marks. Okay. Now, marks are the least time-consuming and most efficient method of reporting, and that's why it is used worldwide. Okay, because it is simple. It is just one mark that conveys the achievement status of the student. Okay. for better or for worse, here, a lot of people tend to understand what does an A mean, that type of thing. And also employers tend to look at the grade sheet. Oh, A student, very good. And a lot of articles are pointing to the fact that, well, most employers tend to hire those with higher grades. And this is especially true in North America, Europe, and in Asia. In all these places. Mark is everything. Mark is everything. For example, in the United States, and you see that you must have heard of those celebrities bribing officials trying to get their children into Harvard, Stanford, Yale, the Ivy League universities. And all right, so marks are least time-consuming and most efficient method of reporting. Now, symbols can be converted to numbers. For example, grade point average. Grade point averages are useful in many types of selection, placement, and classification decisions. They are the best. They are the best single predictor of success in future schooling, right? So it's just like standardized test is a good prediction of further education. It's like this. Okay? We have score, standardized test score. Okay, and here you can have both grade point average or like this. Say grade point average, or I could do it this way, but then let's say score, standardized test score. Let's say SAT. We have the following observation. These are all dots here. Okay, lots of data. Okay? So in general, the higher the standardized test scores, the higher will be the grade point average in the university. Okay, in the universities. And also this is also true for GRE score. Okay, this here is for university. This is for grad studies, masters, PhDs. Okay, all right. So, using grade point averages to making decisions is much more efficient and accurate than clinical decisions made on the basis of, let's say, letters of recommendation, letters of reference. No. Grade point average is much better. And of course, standardized test scores are even better. Okay. Number 3, marks relate not only the one's chances to obtain good grades in future courses, okay, as you see here, they also relate somewhat to achievements beyond level, or beyond school. Okay. Here, say, higher standardized score or better grade point average, their achievements not just within school but also beyond. Okay, now look at look at those look at those high achievers. Okay, a lot of them they have they have high grade on average, high standardized grades. All right, so that's good. All right. Now, evidence shows that a mark serves as an overall summary index, and students want and need to know how they did on the whole. All things considered, as well as how they did on each separate subjective or each separate sub-objective. So evidence showed that students want to receive these overall summary reports. Right? They want to know all that's here and how they did on each separate objective. Okay, now some good principles to use in marking or assigning grades. Okay? Now, marks should be based as much as possible on objective measures. Then letter grades better than percentage grades. Why? Because percentage grades connote an absolute sense. Is that right? Well, percentage grade is here. Let's say, how do you interpret 100%? I know everything, but the fact is not like that. Is that right? 100% means you could answer all the items correctly, but then all those items does not measure everything. Not even the subject matter, the entire subject matter, okay? or 80%. I know 80% of that course. No. Because those test items, they don't represent everything in a course. They are only a subset. You can consider those test items are only a subset of a much larger collection of test items, right? So therefore letter grade say A, B, C, D is much better than this here. This is an absolute score. How 100% means 100 over 100. You know everything. No, that's not the case. Okay, so letter grades are much better. Status and improvement should be graded separately. As I mentioned, that improvements based upon the growth and different score. It is both growth scores and different scores are highly unreliable. Right? Are highly unreliable. So therefore, achievement status, as measured by grades, should be different. From the other two, say the growth or different score. Grades should be assigned on a comparative basis. So what is it? Well, a lot of time is say all of this here, SAT, GRE, they want the grading a lot of time percentile. They say percentile, say 96 means your score is better than 96% of all the people taking the same test. Okay, and of course here, SAT, GRE, they also come with 760, a score, but people look at it far more seriously than this here. Okay, so this is 760 over 800 let's say for analytic skill. All right, so here, this is non-referenced. Is that right? This is one non-referenced. Then what this is a criterion reference test score. This is non-reference test score. Okay. Criterion reference not good. Guess what? It connotes a sense that I know everything now. Here, I'm better. 96% of all people take the same. That this one is more meaningful, right? It's more meaningful than what? Than I know everything. Right? So these are the advantages and disadvantages of what? Of grade. Right? Good. Thank you.